Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. How did Joe Biden get the Democratic nomination in 2020? Most certainly working for the FBI. So FBI operatives were organizing the attack on the Capitol.
To some degree, the election was rigged. Was it stolen?
Totally ridiculous. It was 100% stolen. Are you
like
joking?
It was rigged to that large of a...
Yeah, all now mail-in ballots, electronic voting machines. I was like, that's a rigged election. I thought that then, I think it now.
Tucker Carlson was a once popular conservative host of Tucker Carlson Tonight on Fox News, which gained popularity from his extreme positions on a range of political and social issues. Carlson was ousted from Fox News in 2023 after Fox had to pay a settlement of over $800 million for a defamation suit with Domination Voting systems over false election fraud claims. The fact that Tucker Carlson was forced out around the same time as this settlement cannot be coincidental. Carlson himself was never shy of spreading baseless conspiracy theories and had a constant reliance on false and misleading claims. Through his show, he had some influence on Trump himself while he was president, as well as up to 3 million conservative viewers every night. His loyal audience believed every single word of his baseless claims, and Carlson's impact on the conservative community was a lot stronger than it had any right to be. Nowadays, he claims to be a journalist, but yet his baseless claims and lack of integrity are not the hallmarks of a journalist. Tucker's way of avoiding responsibility is by promoting his conspiracy theories through asking his audience questions. He never actually has the answers to any of these questions. Another thing that a lot of conservatives like to do, as well as Tucker himself, is when he receives backlash for any sort of comment, he claims his free speech is being impeached by the woke left. So there is a wide range of countless conspiracy theories that Tucker has spread throughout the years, and quite frankly are disgusting and very damaging. I could have hours worth of video just talking about all the claims he's made that are baseless, but I am going to focus on the ones that I found the most egregious and most disgusting. So the first one was in December 2018 when Carlson accused immigrants coming into the country for making the country poorer, dirtier and more divided. Now these kind of racist remarks, of course, if you have any sort of logical brain, are disgusting, especially when you're someone like Carlson who has such a huge audience, and what he is doing is creating tension and hatred towards a community of people who are just trying to have better lives, people that are escaping war, people that are escaping poverty, that are coming to achieve the American dream, and yet they're being pushed out by the conservative community because Carlson is making such defamatory, disgusting comments. In 2019, Watchdog Media Matters unearthed tapes of Tucker Carlson, who credited white men for creating civilization and also defended the Iraq War. He claimed that he had no sympathy for Iraqs, calling them semi-illiterate, primitive monkeys. Now, he went on to say that Afghanistan would never be a civilized country because the people aren't civilized. Now, I don't think I really need to explain to any of you guys why these comments are disgusting, why these comments are racist, why these comments are vile. And this is only like a snippet of some of the bullshit that Tucker would say. And it boggles my mind that this man had a news show every single night on Fox. It boggles my mind. Now, one of the most deplorable theories he shared on his right-wing news channel was a theory called the Great Replacement Theory, where he reportedly warned his viewers that Democrats were importing new citizens into the country to replace the disobedient ones. His false claim, without any sort of real proof or evidence, as per usual, was that Biden was letting in loyal foreigners to maintain power and to destroy America. It's literally white supremacist rhetoric, and if you can imagine the effect it must have had on the immigrants that were coming into this country, all the tension that was created because of Carlson's comments and possible threats of violence to people who are, like I said before, trying to make better lives for themselves, trying to escape a war, trying to escape poverty. He is quoted as saying, "This is ethnic replacement, this is cultural replacement, this is racial replacement." Now again, he had no actual proof or evidence to back up these claims. In 2019, the day Trump visited El Paso after a white gunman who had written an anti-Hispanic rant killed 22 people, Carlson made some really disgusting comments on his show claiming that white supremacy is a hoax. He asked the question, again to avoid responsibility, whether there is enough number of white supremacists that could fit in a football stadium. He's quoted as saying, "This is a hoax, just like the Russian hoax. It's a conspiracy theory used to divide the country and keep a hold on power." Now, when he's saying Russia hoax, he means Trump's involvement with Russia and Putin, etc. He said he never met anyone who describes to white supremacy. I don't know anyone personally that's murdered anybody, but that doesn't mean that people don't get murdered every single fucking day. Like, the leap of logic that he makes, because he doesn't personally know white supremacists means they just don't simply exist. It's a level of stupidity that even my brain can't comprehend. This was a white man who killed 22 people because he was racist. Like, it's really that straightforward. No one is claiming that everyone that's white is racist. I'm certainly not racist, but there is definitely a percentage out there, and when they do shit like kill people because they're not white, that is what literal white supremacy is, and to try argue it in any other way is literally insanity. And this is why I fucking hate Tucker Carlson. In 2020, when Trump began to realise that the election was slipping through his chubby little fingers, he began to spread the idea that the election was rigged. In states like Georgia, claiming that the mail-in voting was rigged as people were voting more than once, or they were using dead relatives, or that ballots were being counted without matching signatures. He also claimed that there was software was rigged that stole votes from Trump. Now, the real actual reason why Biden's votes came in late is because the majority of Democratic voters were asked to vote by mail-in votes. And because of that, their voting came in later, where the majority of the Republican community voted in person, so their votes were counted first. So what you had was an initial climb for Trump, but because of all the Democratic votes coming in, because they were all mail-in votes, they take longer to count. That's why. It's really that simple. There has been, literally to this day, there has not been one shred of evidence to prove that the election was rigged, which is why Fox News had to pay $800 million in a defamation case. And even to this day, Tucker still believes the election was rigged, as he states on Lex Fridman's podcast released only this week.
To some degree, the election was rigged. Was it stolen?
Totally ridiculous. It was 100% stolen. Are you
like
joking?
It was rigged to that large of a degree?
They completely change the way people vote.
Does not provide any sort of evidence to back up his claims. On January 6th, 2021, of course, was the storming of the Capitol, where Trump supporters stormed the US Capitol in an attack aimed to prevent the Congress from certifying Biden's victory. In response, Carlson advanced a baseless theory claiming the attack wasn't a genuine one and was instead a false flag operated by the FBI.
Almost certainly working for the FBI. So FBI operatives were organizing the attack on the Capitol. Strangely, some of the key people who participated on January 6th have not been charged. Look at the documents. The government calls those people unindicted co-conspirators. What does that mean? Well, it means that in potentially every single case, they were FBI operatives.
Again, literally no evidence backing up his claims. Just spreading baseless false claims. Again, I say this, how does this man have any sort of authority? How does this man have any sort of audience that listen to him? And how is it allowed for someone just to make baseless claims without any evidence? Now, since leaving Fox News, Tucker did set up his own streaming service called the Tucker Carlson Network, and the service, which includes investigative reports, short documentaries, and behind-the-scenes looks at Carlson's biggest interviews. And it will also offer subscribers the opportunity to email Carlson directly with answers appearing on a Ask Tucker series. It reportedly costs about $9 a month or $72 for the full year. In February 2024, Tucker interviewed Vladimir Putin. Putin expressed to Tucker that he had no interest in a wider war or to invade Poland or Latvia. Putin did talk a lot of nonsense too. Mr. Putin's most inflammatory claim was regarding Poland. He claimed that Poland, which was invaded by Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union in 1939, collaborated with Hitler. Tucker just kind of looked bemused and didn't really push him on some of the lies that he shared. Now, in Tucker's defense, of course, being in Russia talking to a dictator like Putin must have been incredibly intimidating, but if he is the journalist he claims to be and he claims to have integrity, he really should have fought back with Putin. He really should have pushed Putin and really questioned some of the things Putin was saying, instead of saying things like, of course, I understand. He really wasn't the right journalist for this job. And I think the reason why Putin actually picked Tucker Carlson to interview him is because he knew Tucker Carlson had no backbone, and he knew that he could manipulate and control the interview and say what he wanted. Whereas if he had got someone that has a bit more integrity, he mightn't have had the same result. Now, Tucker seems to be a bit pro-Putin and a bit pro-Russia, because in the next snippet of after his interview, he goes to a supermarket and marvels over the things that every country in Europe has, like the fact that you can put a coin into a trolley and get the coin back afterwards. The fact that the trolleys have travelators that the trolley can stay in place in boggled his stupid little brain. And also, like, he went on to make claims that Russia was cheaper than America because it only costs like 100 Russian rubles to buy shopping. He left out the most important context that most Russians only make about 100 to 200 a week. So 100 Russian rubles for a few bits of shopping is extortion, and it goes to show how poor the Russian community really is. But you know, of course, Tucker Carlson, not being the journalist he claims to be, leaves out this context and portrays Russia in a lot more positive light. And the problem for Carlson and with his audience is his audience automatically believe everything they are told. They don't need any evidence, so he doesn't provide it. And that's what's worrying. And that's the power that he has over these people is beyond imaginable. One thing about Carlson that we've learned is, although he openly claims to be a big supporter of Trump, as we all know, he claimed that he agrees with a lot of Trump's policies and believes another 4 years of Trump is needed.
And I agreed with his immigration views. And I really like Trump personally. I think he's hilarious and interesting, which he is.
He also made claims that the Mar-a-Lago charges were fake, an attempt for Democrats to remove Trump from running for president.
The second they raided Mar-a-Lago on a documents charge, as someone from DC, I was like, I know a lot about classification and all that stuff and been around it a lot. That's so absurd that I was like, now it's not about Trump. It's about our system continuing. Like, if you can take out a presidential candidate on a fake charge, use the justice system to take the guy out of the race, then we don't have a representative democracy anymore.
Where to me, it's more that Trump is getting consequences for his actions, and because he thought he could just break the law and do what he wanted, because there's consequences, that means, oh, it's all about trying to overthrow democracy. It's like, no, your apparent president broke the law and he should pay for breaking the law, as any president should. And I'm not naive. I know in America presidents have broken the law countless times over the 250 years that they've been around, but to act like Trump is somehow absolved of everything is insanity. Although Tucker claims to be a huge fan of Trump and love him and respect him and think he's great for the country, it goes to show, just like with anyone else, he's a liar, he's a bullshitter. A couple of years ago, private messages leaked showing that he actually lies to his audience about Trump. He's quoted as saying, "We are very, very close to being able to ignore Trump most nights. I truly can't wait." He also sent a text message saying, "I hate him passionately. I can't handle much more of this." So the fact that he is so disingenuous in terms of even his like political beliefs in who he believes should be president, the fact that he's willing to openly lie on his own news show to his own audience, again shows that he has no integrity. Now, I could talk many, many more examples of Carlson's disgusting rhetoric and his bullshit lies that he spreads without any evidence, but the video would just simply be too long. To me, Carlson had a responsibility as a news person, as a prominent pundit for the conservative community. He had a responsibility to basically be honest with his audience, to not spread misinformation, to see things from both sides, to not be biased, but all he did was spread lies and hate and rumors, and you could argue that it could possibly have had an effect on the community as a whole. If you're a Tucker Carlson supporter and you're offended by this, well, I don't care. Everything I've mentioned in this video that he's lied about has been proven that he's lied about it. He has not provided any evidence for like pretty much all of his theories, and you can feel free to look up any of the theories that I mentioned to see if there's any proof to it, and you won't find any because I researched pretty fucking hard for it. But that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next video, and I'll try not to piss off any more conservatives like I have before. Okay, peace out, guys. Whoop.